A single 69-foot well in Pennsylvania sparked a global oil rush that changed the entire world. And in the middle of it, a ghost town rose out of nothing, then died overnight. Picture this: one man, one drill, digging into the ground with almost no idea what he was actually looking for. 69 feet down, he hit something that would ignite an obsession across the entire planet. Within weeks, thousands of people dropped everything and rushed to this one spot in the woods. A town exploded into existence almost overnight. Hotels, saloons, fortunes made in days. People who had nothing suddenly had everything. It felt unstoppable, like the ground itself was made of money. But then, just as fast as it appeared, it all fell apart. The same town that had thousands of people fighting to get in emptied out almost overnight, leaving behind nothing but broken buildings and forgotten dreams. Nobody fully agrees on what actually killed it. Some say it was greed. Some say it was something buried even deeper than that well ever reached. So what really happened in the town that oil built and oil destroyed? And could the exact same thing be happening again, right now, somewhere nobody's paying attention? In the late summer of 1859, the quiet wilderness of Titusville, Pennsylvania, hummed with the rhythmic metallic clang of a steam-powered cable tool rig. Edwin Drake, a former railroad conductor with no geological training, chased a volatile theory rather than a guaranteed fortune. Before this moment, people gathered oil by skimming the greasy film that naturally leaked onto the surface of creeks. Drake wanted to drill directly into the earth to find the source. To make this experiment work, Drake hired William Uncle Billy Smith, a blacksmith and salt well driller who understood the mechanics of iron and rock. Together, they drove a cast iron pipe down through the collapsing wet sand to reach the bedrock. On the evening of August 26, their drill bit slipped into a crevice, stopping at a verified point of 69.5 feet. With their funds exhausted and investor patience gone, they packed up their tools for the night. The next morning, August 27, 1859, Uncle Billy peered into the pipe. A dark, thick liquid floated on the water, rising toward the surface. It was the first reliable commercial flow of petroleum extracted from a shallow sandstone reservoir. This single quiet strike proved that oil did not have to be gathered by the spoonful from mud. It could be pumped systematically from beneath the earth, instantly turning a desperate gamble into a global industry. News of the discovery did not stay quiet for long. The Titusville Morning Herald carried the first reports, and soon the New York Tribune reprinted the story across the country, calling it a miracle of modern industry. By September 1859, Seneca Oil Company executives dispatched urgent letters to New York investors demanding immediate funding to lock down neighboring properties before rivals arrived. Nobody waited for scientific confirmation. Speculators and fortune seekers swarmed the Oil Creek Valley, treating the find as a massive market event. By mid-September, local registries logged more than 200 new land claims every week. Hotel ledgers at the newly opened Oil City Hotel recorded a 95% occupancy rate, with room prices jumping to $2 a night. Between August and October, passenger manifests for the Erie Railroad showed about 3,000 people traveling to the region, a 10-fold spike from the year before. Farmers abandoned their crops, and blacksmiths dropped their tools to claim a piece of the muddy banks. By the close of 1859, Pennsylvania's annual oil production exploded from 2,000 barrels to roughly 500,000 barrels. The quiet frontier had completely overheated in a matter of weeks. This frantic scramble set a dangerous pattern of speculation and rapid growth that would soon play out on a far more extreme scale. In January 1865, the momentum of the oil rush shifted 6 miles from Titusville to a quiet, muddy patch of land known as Holmdon Farm. Here, the United States Petroleum Company, led by Isaiah Frazier, James Faulkner Jr., Frederick W. Jones and J. Nelson Tappan, drilled a wildcat well that altered the mechanics of the entire boom. On January 7th, the well erupted, producing a steady, reliable flow of 250 barrels of oil per day. The financial response was immediate. Shares in the United States Petroleum Company soared overnight, leaping from $6.25 to $40. Realizing that the true wealth lay in the ground itself, speculators Thomas G. Duncan and George C. Prather bought the farm for $25,000. They quickly carved the muddy acreage into 500 individual lots. This was the moment the oil rush transformed from a mobile, chaotic search for petroleum into a highly organized real estate engine. Speculators shifted from trading physical barrels of oil to selling a future, using land as the primary vehicle for belief. On May 24, 1865, surveyors officially laid out the streets for a new settlement called Pithole City, turning a simple farm into a formal town plan. The speed of construction matched the frantic energy of the stock market. Just 48 hours after the first lots went on sale, the first wooden frame house stood on the newly cleared earth. Within weeks, the quiet forest hummed with the noise of hammers, saws, and the shouts of thousands of arriving workers. Pithole was being invented in real time, built on speed and rapid speculation, powered by the hope that this sudden fortune would never end. By the late summer of 1865, Holmdon Street was a choking river of thick mud, draft horses, and desperate men. The quiet hemlock forest had vanished under a chaotic grid of pine boards, canvas tents, and raw ambition. Between 15 and 20,000 people now crammed into Pithole, creating a population larger than most established ports in the state. They slept where they could, filling 57 hastily built hotels, including the massive Astor House, which workers hammered together in a single day. Those who could not secure a room paid $12 a month for a cramped cot in a boarding house, while drillers, earning an unprecedented $5 a day, threw their cash onto makeshift counters. This was a society built on the fly, where the line between respectability and vice blurred with every fresh strike. More than 30 saloons, like Hogan's Lager Beer Saloon and Dutch John's, kept their doors open around the clock to serve crowds of weary workers and rich speculators. Cash moved so fast that a simple wooden dry goods box sold for $10 on the street corner, only to be turned into a faro gambling table 10 minutes later. Cheap whiskey flowed at $2 a gallon, and the town's raw, sulfurous scent of crude oil mixed with the smell of coal smoke and roasting meat. Yet, formal institutions struggled to keep pace with the chaos. On July 27, 1865, Postmaster S.S. Hill opened the first post office in a small wooden shack. Within days, the sheer volume of letters grew so overwhelming that the clerks could barely move. By the end of that same month, Pithole's post office was sorting more than 10,000 letters every single day, making it the third busiest mail hub in the state, surpassed only by Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. The wealth here was real, but it carried a frantic, unstable energy. Everything in Pithole was constructed for immediate profit, built on wooden stilts over oil-soaked soil. The town burned with an intense, raw excitement, running far too hot to keep itself from spinning apart. By the summer of 1866, the rhythmic thumping of the steam engines along Pithole Creek began to falter. The Great Fraser Well, which once spewed hundreds of barrels of oil a day, slowed to a sluggish trickle. Across the valley, other wells followed. The high underground pressure that had forced the crude to the surface vanished as quickly as it had arrived, leaving drillers staring at dry pipes. Almost instantly, the frantic optimism of the boom evaporated. Workers who had arrived with nothing but hope packed their bags and slipped away. By 1867, the bustling wooden boardwalks of Holmdon Street grew quiet. The hotels that once charged exorbitant rates stood empty, their glass windows reflecting a gray Pennsylvania sky. This was a sudden, headlong retreat. Property values crashed. Between 1865 and 1868, county recorders logged more than 300 deed transfers as desperate speculators tried to claw back whatever cash they could. By 1869, a wave of reforeclosures swept the town, and properties simply reverted to the state. People abandoned their land and even carried their physical buildings away. In August 1868, the Chase House Hotel and Murphy's Theater were sold, dismantled, and physically hauled away on heavy wagons to nearby Pleasantville. The very walls of the city were leaving. By 1870, the census counted only 237 residents remaining in a city that once held 20,000. Left behind was a silent skeleton of pine boards and rusted iron. Was this collapse merely the natural exhaustion of a shallow reservoir? Or did a darker combination of bad luck, financial ruin, and disaster destroy America's first great oil town? The physical collapse of Pithole began deep beneath the muddy streets, long before the bank runs and fires. Geologists look first at the structure of the Pithole Creek Basin, the famous Fraser Well, also known as the Wildcat, which had ignited the frenzy in January 1865, ceased its natural flow by November of that same year. The Homestead Well had already died in August. The entire field tapped into a shallow sandstone reservoir that lacked a secondary drive mechanism to push the crude upward. Every barrel extracted rapidly depleted the underground pressure. By December 1866, daily output across the entire valley plummeted from 3,600 barrels to just 1,800. Petroleum historian Dr. William R. Bryce notes that the rapid exhaustion of this shallow, high-pressure pocket was inevitable, calling the boom a classic case of geological over-optimism. But geology alone did not empty the hotels. The financial foundations of Pithole were as shallow as its wells. Real estate speculation had inflated land values to absurd heights, with individual lot prices quadrupling within 2 weeks of the town's founding. When the oil flow began to falter, this fragile paper empire shattered. In March 1866, a massive regional banking network, owned by Congressman Charles Vernon Culver, collapsed. The resulting credit panic froze cash reserves overnight, leaving speculators with heavily mortgaged, overvalued land they could no longer sell. As capital dried up, courtrooms filled. Throughout 1866, county recorders logged a wave of lawsuits over Pithole Creek mineral rights. Investors, instead of funding new drilling technologies, spent their remaining resources fighting over contested boundaries, paralyzing development. Then came the physical destruction. In June 1866, a massive citywide fire ripped through the wooden town, consuming thousands of barrels of oil, storage tanks, and several hotels. The disaster racked up $75,000 in uninsured losses, a devastating blow to a community already struggling to secure credit. Finally, the global market shifted. National oil prices crashed from more than $1.50 a barrel in 1864 to just 80 cents by 1867. New, more stable oil fields opened in Ohio and West Virginia, offering safer returns for Wall Street capital. Pithole was simply priced out of the industry it helped create. The death of Pithole was not caused by a single failure. It was a perfect storm of finite geology, predatory speculation, legal gridlock, catastrophic fire, and shifting global markets, proving how quickly a town built on nothing but confidence can vanish when that confidence is tested. An archival photograph from 1867 shows Holmdon Street stripped of its crowds, leaving a line of sagging wooden facades and empty storefronts staring into a gray sky. By 1895, an aerial photograph captured the final physical transition, showing skeletal foundations dissolving into overgrown meadows. Pithole left a permanent material scar on the land. A bronze historical marker, erected on the quiet hillside in 1986, marks the boundaries of this vanished city, while a museum exhibit preserves the rusted iron tools and personal artifacts recovered from the dirt. These quiet ruins serve as physical proof of speed, overreach, and the emotional toll on families who watched their community dismantle. Today, the empty grass fields of this ghost town offer a quiet warning, showing exactly what speculation leaves behind when the illusion of endless wealth finally evaporates. It is a cycle of hope and exhaustion that continues to carve its way through resource frontiers across the globe. In 2010, hydraulic fracturing unlocked the Bakken Shale Formation beneath Williston, North Dakota, triggering a modern resource rush. Within 4 years, the quiet town's population surged from 15,900 to 28,815. High-paying drilling jobs drove median household incomes from $55,000 to $80,000. But money arrived faster than the community could build roads or schools. When oil prices crashed, the easy cash evaporated. Eviction rates, which sat near zero before the boom, skyrocketed to 7%. Williston's population retreated toward 20,000, leaving behind vacant housing units and heavy debt. Economic historian Dr. Emily Henderson noted that boomtowns move money faster than infrastructure can keep up, leaving communities with empty houses when the wells run dry. It raises a persistent question. Is the old cycle of Pithole over, or is it repeating somewhere else right now? Today, quiet forests cover the scars of America's first oil rush. Yet, the cycle of frantic speculation and sudden ruin never ended. We still build empires on volatile ground, chasing the next overnight fortune while ignoring how fast it can vanish. The ghost towns of yesterday are warnings for the booms of today. What do you think? Share your thoughts below.